Yeah, good evening to all of you. A slight switch over from the main topic of sandload to earlier what it was called as minor forest products, and now it is called as non-timber forest products. So it was changed as a non-timber forest product only because the name minor forest products itself was defaming the uh, vast use of the forest produce, that is minor forest products, because many of the products which were not at all minor forest products which contributed to the huge economy like BD leaves, honey, etc., was a huge collection and contributed a quite good amount of economy. So it was later called as non-timber forest products. So as the definition says, NTFP, that is non-timber forest product, is defined as all the forest products other than timber found or taken from the forest, which includes uh, like canes, grasses, bamboos, fibers, oils, tannins. So all these things which are collected from forests other than timber where comes under non-timber forest products. So just I have just to enlighten you people that non-timber forest is not a new thing. From ancient time it is being collected. You can just see that from ancient imported gum arabic was imported from Sudan. Then trade of sandalwood oil dates back to 12th century. Then exports of essential oils, Philippines in 1864. Then Brazil nut trade by Dutch traders during 18th century. So these are some of the examples that minor forest products or non-timber forest products were collected and exported from long time. So just to see that how NTFPs are seen in the current scenario is, so a lot of people are dependent on collection and use of NTFPs from forest. So main the people who are involved in collection of NTFPs is the tribal people. The people who dwell are either in the fringe forest areas or in the forest area. So they are the main collectors of non-timber forest produce. It is again seasonal. And the main contribution of NTFP collection is from the women folk who generally collect this NTFPs from the forest areas. So family is a basic, the family is a unit where the whole family sometimes gets involved in collection of NTFPs. Example, BD leaves in MP is a good business where whole family is involved in collection of BD leaves. So as all of you know that our country is one of the 12 mega biodiversity centers, so which harbors a good amount of plant flora species, which again contribute towards the non-timber forest as in the form of medicine or other uses. So endophyte resource base, just we can classify them in four broad things, that is medicinal plants, like essential oiling plants, then dyes and tannins, gums and resins. So you can see the number of plant species involved in production of medicinal plants, that is around 3000 medicinal plants are documented. Then similarly essential oil yielding plants around 250, then dye and tans yielding are around 100, then gum yielding and resin yielding are 120. The classic are caraya gum and pine resin. So broadly, the NTFPs are classified into two broad classification, that is NTFPs of plant origin. So most of the NTFPs collected are for plant origin, and there are some of NTFPs which are also of animal origin, like honey, lac, tussar, that is tussar cell, insects and animal hides, skins and feathers, horns, bones and shellac, ivory and musk. These are from animal origin. The most of the NTFPs are plant origin, like edible plant products. You know, there are a lot of like medicinal plants, mushrooms, so many other things come under this. Spices, then medicinal plants, aromatic plants, oil yielding plants, gums, tannins, dyes, fiber and floss, then bamboos and canes also contribute significantly as NTFPs. So this I will not go in detail, because since you people are a forestry students, you would know this national forest policy and what NTFP has, what status NTFP enjoys in national forest policy. Also, you people are well aware about it. So I'll just you can just go through this slide. So there is a good significant contribution of NTFPs also, and the national forest policy also has clear guidelines about collection of NTFPs, then who has to collect, from where it has to be collected, and how much it has to be collected is very clearly defined in national forest policy. So just broadly, if you tell about analysis of how it is done, generally, if you see, forest department has the onus of this NTFPs. So the highest bidders are tribal societies. Some tribal societies are formed for collection of NTFPs. So the permit is given by to the collectors by forest department. Then there might be agents also who pool up all these NTFPs in one place, and they buy it from the collectors, or there may be a direct selling of or depositing of NTFPs to the society also. So generally what happens in NTFP collection is, so there is lot of material loss in the process of collection of these NTFPs. This is what is shown in that diagram. So once the material is collected, so there is lot of loss while the material reaches up to the consumable stage. There is lot of loss. So that's the main reason where there is lot of resource loss when it is collected from the forest area. So that's why NTFPs are being domesticated by and large in the current scenario. Why? Because lot of genetic resources is lost when it is collected from the forest area, and in the process of putting it into value added product, lot of loss around in some cases there is loss of around 40 to 50% loss of the material. So there is a lot of significance where these NTFPs from the forest areas have been domesticated, like ashwagandha, then sarpagandha, all those things have been domesticated only to avoid this type of loss from the forest area where the real genetic resources is lost totally. So this I just given out the production, how is the production of NTFPs from 1999 to 2015. You can see some of the major NTFPs, what was the production in tons. So you can see how it has contributed to the economy also. Like BD leaves contributes the maximum. Next comes the honey, then the fruits and walnuts, and the minor fruits contribute maximum to the economy of a country. So this is just a comparison among Southeast Asian countries, where India, Indonesia, Philippines, Cambodia, totally how they contribute to the world NTFP market. So you can see the number of villages involved in collection also, number of persons involved. So it is a real, uh, it provides lot of job to the community, where they collect lot of NTFPs and earn quite a good amount of income to the family. So here in this diagram, you can see that India is a major contributor for NTFP trades. It's almost about 48%. So this is a small list of what is the major issues in NTFP management. So as of now, you can see the list goes on actually. So CSR has actually documented that is there are around 3,000 plant species which yield NTFPs. So this is a documented list. So 150 excluding medicinal plants are commercially exploited. So other than medicinal plants, there are so many other plants which are exploited commercially, either for dye extraction or tannin extraction or essential oil extraction. So there are 150 plants really uh, contributing in a huge way to the economy. The main problem is, this is a little is known of the actual production, use, and the way of marketing. Marketing is a big issue in NTFPs. So the State Forest Department is responsible for NTFP development process. That is, they have to manage a good inventory system about this product marketing and also the amount of NTFPs collected also. But that there is a lag in that issue where there is no documentation and also the marketing strategy is not well established. That is one part where NTFP management lags behind. So there is no regular action plan also where it defines how much of NTFP is to be collected from the forest area and how it has to be processed and what has to be left in the forest area before harvesting. Sometimes people they harvest in, especially in case of tubers where it is harvested, they generally what they do is like asparagus, they harvest whole of the plant where there is no vegetative material left behind for further propagation during the next season. So this type of small intricacies are not taken care even in management. So there is a lot of loss in the genetic material. So there is a lot of gap in the way it has to be collected, then processing, marketing, all these things are not well established. Non-sustainable harvesting, as I told, is the major issue in NTFPs, which is contributing towards the loss of genetic material, and some of the NTFPs have been really become very difficult to harvest from the forest area because there is no good propagation in the next season. So lacking of value-added NTFPs, that is any NTFP is collected once, needs to be having some value addition. Like in case of bamboo, or in case of mushrooms, anything, it has to be processed. Otherwise, there is a lot of material loss and it is not contributing enough to the economy. This I have just detailed a few of the major NTFPs where there is significant amount of contribution to the economy, like mushrooms, then spices and condiments. This is Myristica. This PPT will be shared if you want. You can just go through the details of it. So the spices and condiments also contribute huge to the economy. Like Myristica is one example where the lot of maize and even the seeds both contribute to the economy. And it's a costly affair where maize has to be separated from the, there is a aril from the seeds which has to be, the red part has to be separated and dried in a perfect way so that there is no fungal infection, and only then it fetches a good amount of revenue. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get a good revenue out of maize. Gum karaya, as all of you know, the drier parts of the country, like Andhra Pradesh is a huge producer of gum karaya, and Andhra Pradesh and north part of Karnataka produces the maximum gum karaya. So gum karaya is used in all condiments. So this is a huge market again. Regularly people are involved in collection of gum karaya. Anato is actually an exotic plant. It's not an Indian plant, but it is used as a natural dyeing agent and it is an edible dye. So Anata, it is a Bixa orolena. In some parts of country, they are cultivated and the seeds are extracted, and from the seeds a red dye is extracted, which is a natural dye used to dye even cloth and even to color food items also they are used. Bamboos, as all of you know, there are n number of variety of bamboos which have different uses, starting from using as construction material to basket making. You can have different bamboo species for different uses. Honey, I need not describe much about honey. Honey is a well-known material which every household uses it. So honey production is a big industry. Sandload oil, as sandload has already been touched, sandload oil is again a prized item and it's an essential oil from wood. Then the other major essential oil is the eucalyptus oil, which is extracted from the leaves. So in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, PDS Leaf Collection is the biggest industry and it contributes maximum revenue for the state. So there are societies in Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar for collection of BD leaves, and it is managed by the societies. That is, it's called as Tendupata. So this is the amount of revenue actually NTFPs provide to the forest dwellers. I've just given some of the facts and figures there. So 60% of the recorded forest revenue from NTFP. So the information is lacking because it is not well documented, because most of the NTFPs are sold in the local markets and it is consumed locally. So there is not a good documentation process where all the NTFPs collected from the forest area is been documented. So there is a lot of miss in the information. So all the NTFPs collected has been documented. So there is a good amount of revenue generated from NTFPs. So this is just a comparison where over time we see a lot of decline because of lot of regulations, and even the forest dwellers are not shifting to other source of income, rather collecting NTFPs. So you can see the decline of collection of NTFPs from the forest areas over time. See 1999, 91 to 92, you can see what is the amount of NTFPs collected, and over time 2000, the next year itself, you can see the 99 to 2000, you can see there is lot of decline where only few of the NTFPs been collected, and many of the NTFPs are not at all collected, or they have not been recorded at all, the collection. This is just a comparison of prices. Per kg price, how it has increased. There is a good, where there is low production, there is high price. That is the only, that is a standard rule. When there is low production, the prices will shoot up. This is just a state-wise list how NTFP is being collected per hectare. This is a source from the NMPB 2014. A list has been provided where the source of income collected from per hectare from different states, it has been documented. This is just an view of export and import of NTFs from India. You can see mushrooms. So most of the mushrooms collected in the wild are what's called as mushrooms. You people must be aware, since you people are from the Himalayas, the Gucci, what is called as mushroom, that is the most prized mushroom collected and it is exported. It costs, I think kgs cost in pretty price 10,000. Sometimes it is 15,000 rupees also. The Guccis are sold in the market. The pine nuts are the major collection and income. When it is processed in a right way, it fetches good amount. Walnuts, then spices, cocoon, silk cocoons collected from wild. Then again, that is also a silk only, Mazri.